Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm still recovering from the summer flu, so apologies for my voice ahead of time, but we have some very big news I want to share with you all. First up, let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin today. It crossed over $112,000, but I don't trust this rally yet. I need more confirmation, and we could see a fake out. This could be a dead cat bounce. We could still go down and test some lows before we continue the bull market. We are still in a bull market, no invalidation. All of the support levels are there. Just simply looking at the Bitcoin daily chart, the 200-day moving average, we are still comfortably above that like we have been throughout the bull market. Have we dipped below? Of course, but we got out of those holes right away. It's one of those things I've been telling you guys. It's an easy indicator, one of the indicators you can use to validate where are we in this bull market and if we are still in a bull market. So everything's still going according to plan, just we got to stomach the volatility. However, I don't like what I'm seeing on the Bitcoin weekly chart because the MACD shows that bears are in control. So that's why I'm saying what we're seeing on the daily chart, I don't trust it. So we could still see another flush downwards. But what's interesting in the thesis of we are in a macro bull market for all assets, gold hit a new all-time high. And as we've been talking about throughout this bull market, we've seen gold lead and then stocks and crypto followed. So all of it is following global liquidity, which shows there's still room for this market to run. And we just got to be patient. But gold, maybe topping out soon means that liquidity will start rotating from a macro perspective into other asset classes. And it could indicate, the top for the bull market come Q4, because this doesn't play out over a day or a week. It plays out over months. So right now, gold hit a new all-time high. It is in the overbought zone, so we should see a cool down very soon. But this is a positive sign that there's still liquidity in the market, gold doing what it has been doing throughout this bull market cycle. So very good. ETH is showing some life, but the MACD on the daily still shows bears are in control, even though they're losing some momentum. They still have control here. So it's really a patience game, folks. So just hang in there. As I was saying on Sunday's episode, that I believe the first half of September could be kind of bloody and we keep going lower, find the support levels. In the second half of September, we start rallying and then the fireworks kick off come October. So let's see. That's my thesis. I could be wrong. I will gladly be wrong that things start pumping sooner. But I think we want to be realistic as well. So I hope you understand my perspective. Now, speaking of Ethereum, we got some updates here from the Ethereum Foundation that I want to address because a lot of people have been circulating this on social media and people are starting to panic. So the Ethereum Foundation in their transparency notice said over the several weeks this month, the Ethereum Foundation will convert 10,000 ETH via centralized exchanges as part of our ongoing work to fund R&D grants and donations, aka they are selling some ETH, right? So this is normal. This is nothing new. I've been here since 2016. The Ethereum Foundation has sold ETH at different points to fund operations. Guess what? So does every crypto project. Every one of them out there. Where do they get their money? They have to sell some of the tokens. The important thing is they give you the transparency of how much they have in their treasury, how much are they selling, and is it a significant amount where it's moving markets? This is nothing. 10,000 ETH is nothing. And they've sold more than this. Now, it's funny because Ripple, in their transparency reports, they get a lot of FUD thrown at them if they sell or some XRP comes out of escrow or some of the founders takes profits. But guess what? Every single founder, if you don't think Vitalik sells ETH, you don't think Joe Lubin and every other crypto founder sells at some point, of course. So like I said, the important thing we have to look at is how much and that they are being transparent about it. So I just want to address that, and it's nothing to worry about, guys. This happens all the time, but I think we got to appreciate the transparency that they're letting us know that they are doing this. Now, the SEC Crypto Taskforce continues to meet with big heavy hitters. Yesterday, Robinhood met with the SEC Crypto Taskforce to discuss regulation of crypto assets. Discussion included tokenization of privately offered OTC quoted and exchange listed securities. So this is very interesting. The conversations are heating up, and I've recently had Vlad Tenev, CEO of Robinhood, on the podcast, and we talked a lot about their plans for tokenized stocks and much more. So they're trying to get the ball rolling as quickly as possible. And the SEC is meeting with all these folks. It's not just Robinhood, it's BlackRock and all the big brokerages on Wall Street. So very bullish, folks. Things are moving in the right direction here. Now, here's some very big news coming out of the Fed. The Federal Reserve is going to hold a conference discussing crypto, stablecoins, tokenization, and AI. So amazing that the United States Central Bank is meeting and having a conference to talk about these technologies. And obviously, a big part of it, the majority of it, is crypto, because crypto has many different facets. So you got stable coins, you got the tokenization of assets, and then you have the regular crypto assets, right? And obviously, they have AI in there. And this is going to be held on Tuesday, October 21st. And let me give you some details here. So, innovation has been a constant in payments to meet the changing needs of consumers and businesses, said Governor Christopher J. Waller. I look forward to examining the opportunities and challenges of these new technologies, bringing together ideas on how to improve the safety and efficiency of payments, and hearing from those helping to shape the future of payments. Folks, this is significant. This is the head of the snake here, the Federal Reserve, the people who control the money printer, right? I don't think I need to explain further, right? It's the Fed, it's the central bank. So the fact that they're exploring and trying to figure this all out and how they're going to manage it is bullish, because it means this technology is here to stay, this asset class is here to stay. Regulations is around the corner. The market structure bill that is expected to be passed in the Senate come this fall. And of course, we already have the Genius Act already passed, but the Fed, being the controller of the currency, they're going to have to give the final okay for all of these things to get moving in the real world, right? So if you understand your history and how this all works and how the Fed was created and much more. So very bullish news here, folks. Now, quick word from our sponsor, and that is Trezor. Trezor is the maker of beautiful hardware wallets that make it easy for you to safely store your crypto assets. I'm a big believer in self-custody. I have been for years. I've often talked about I keep the majority of my crypto assets on hardware wallets for safekeeping. And folks, Trezor, they were the ones who pioneered hardware wallets. They started this whole business. They created the seed phrase setup and much more. So they have an incredible pedigree. They started doing this in 2013, and their hardware wallets are open source. And they support all the major tokens. I'm talking Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, Ethereum, and much more, even new tokens. And they have a great software called Trezor Suite, which helps you to manage all of this. And folks, you can use my code ThinkingCrypto, all one word, ThinkingCrypto, to get 5% off your purchase of a device. Personally, I use the Trezor Safe 5. It's a beautiful device, easy to use, large screen, and you can see it here on my screen for those of you watching on YouTube. So it's really easy to use, great platform, great software, great products. So check them out, and once again, use the code ThinkingCrypto to get 5% off. Now look at this news. U.S. Bancorp reboots crypto custody after Trump-era rule change. So we're starting to see a lot of companies are starting to open up their crypto services now that there's clarity from the Fed, the OCC. There's a much more friendlier environment in the United States for crypto. So U.S. Bancorp has re-entered the crypto space by relaunching its digital asset custody services aimed at institutional investment managers. U.S. Bancorp's re-entry follows a regulatory shift under President Donald Trump's current administration, which rolled back a previous SEC rule that had forced banks to hold capital on their balance sheet for crypto-related activities, according to a Wednesday report by Bloomberg. Here's a quote. "We have the playbook, and it's sort of opening up and executing it again," said Stephen Phillipson, head of U.S. Bank's institutional division. He noted that the bank plans to scale the service as demand grows and is also exploring how digital assets might fit into other areas like wealth management and consumer payments. The Minneapolis-based bank, the fifth largest commercial bank in the U.S., first launched its custody service in 2021 in partnership with fintech firm NYDIG before it was paused due to the SEC guidance. With the rule rescinded, U.S. Bancorp is proceeding with a renewed push. So you're seeing here a lot of the big banks across the United States are jumping in. I mean, over the past couple of months, JP Morgan jumped in, Citibank, right? They announced they're going to launch a stablecoin, crypto trading, and much more. PNC Bank. If you caught my interview with the chief business officer at Coinbase, we talked about their partnership with JP Morgan and PNC Bank to help those banks offer crypto trading. So all the banks are getting involved, the stock exchanges as well. So this is incredible and very, very bullish. It will allow more capital to come into the market. And just wait till the crypto market structure bill is passed. That's going to light the fuse for this thing to rocket ship out of out of the orbit, if you want to call it that. So exciting times are ahead. Now, some more positive news. Polymarket, which is the prediction market, which is blockchain based, they have been given the green light to go live in the United States by the CFTC. So Shane Copeland, the founder and CEO, said credit to the commission and staff for their impressive work. This process has been accomplished in record timing. So incredible news here. Big congrats to Polymarket. And they faced a lot of scrutiny after the elections. Shane, I believe he had the FBI and people just knocking down his door. But it's great that these platforms can now be accessible to United States users versus everybody else around the world can use it, but we can't. It's just ridiculous. But this is what blockchain is enabling, guys, the token economy and a lot of different use cases and 24/7 markets and new markets, like predictions. So it's very fascinating. But as always, be careful. Any platforms that you go bet and you gamble with your money, you got to use wisdom. You got to be smart, right? Don't invest money that you're not willing to lose, right? So there is a risk, and it goes with meme coins and much more. There's a lot of new things that are going to open up here, so just be careful. And I'm not saying you can't use it. Just be smart with your money. I don't want you guys to lose money, of course. Now, this is interesting. The Winklevoss twins, along with David Bailey, who's the founder of the Bitcoin Conference and Bitcoin Magazine, as well as Nakamoto, the Bitcoin Treasury company, they are doing a Bitcoin Treasury strategy in Europe, and they're claiming to be the largest Bitcoin Treasury company in Europe. So this is very interesting. The Winklevoss twins, they're starting to ramp up their efforts in multiple ways. So you're seeing this trend of digital asset treasuries expanding globally. And as I've been telling you guys, nothing wrong if you take some money on your balance sheet and buy some Bitcoin. But if you're raising a lot of debt, millions and billions, and then there is volatility, and then there is the bear market and these things. How many of these companies are going to survive? There's some sort of bubble forming here, so we got to watch out. So they're looking to bring their initial raise to $147 million. So very interesting, guys. But these things are going to help drive the price of these assets up because these folks are going to be buying and holding it on their balance sheet and doing the stock arbitrage. Now, personally, I believe buying the assets directly, the crypto assets directly, is the best thing than to go through these companies. But I understand there are some folks, because there's not legal clarity yet, they're not able to touch the assets directly. So they use these proxy companies, if you want to call them that, to hold the assets. But you're paying a premium. And look, maybe you can do a little bit more, as far as the stocks versus the crypto. But I still believe just hold the digital assets. You don't have to worry. There's no premium. You just hold it and less volatility as well. And you can do what you want with those assets. You own it directly, especially if you self-custody. As I mentioned, our sponsor earlier is Trezor, where you can hold the asset directly in a hardware wallet. So that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section if you disagree with me, but that's how I look at it. Now, look at this. Anchorage, which is a crypto custody company, launches Starknet staking for institutions amid crypto yield demand. So Wall Street and institutional investors, they want yield. So they want staking revenue, DeFi revenue, and much more. So Anchorage Digital, a chartered crypto bank in the United States, has launched custody and staking support for Starknet's native token, STRK, seeking to address investors' appetite for yield generation on digital assets. According to a Wednesday announcement, a staked STRK currently yields an annual percentage rate of 7.28%. Anchorage, offering STRK custodian services since January, is expanding the token's utility. Now, I don't hold the Starknet token. Just reporting the news to you guys. Maybe some of you do. I don't know much about it, but let me give you some details from the article. Starknet is a layer 2 scaling network built on Ethereum that uses zero knowledge proofs for transactions. The network introduced staking earlier this year as part of its decentralization roadmap, allowing STRK holders to secure the protocol and earn rewards. So it's a layer 2 built on Ethereum, but its differentiator is that it uses zero knowledge proof. So those of you who don't know what zero knowledge proof is or proofs, it's a feature built into some of these blockchains that allow for private transactions, even though they are public blockchains. So it's for both retail and institutional. So let's say a company builds on Starknet a certain application. And in that application, you have to submit some privacy or private data. You don't want that open on the blockchain, right? So you would want something like zero knowledge proof to hide that data. And any user or viewer of the blockchain, because it's a public network, they can't see it, right? So that's the big sell. And I do believe this technology is going to be a critical part of the infrastructure of how blockchains get adopted in the real world. Because again, you don't want all your private information out there. Banks and institutions don't want all their private information out there, obviously. So you'll need to have that balance, especially on public blockchains. Now, if they're using a private blockchain within their own network, then you don't need zero knowledge proof. But once again, if it's a public blockchain, which a lot of these folks are recognizing is the way, you need something like this to find that balance because you got to have privacy, right, folks? So this is very interesting, and maybe this is a project I'll look into. I'll let you guys know if I do add it to my portfolio, but I have to do some more research, obviously. Now look at this. Crypto is a global asset class, and we're seeing movement around the globe. So Ukraine's parliament backs crypto legalization taxation bill in the first reading. So a country that is essentially at war right now with Russia and has a lot of problems because of that is still finding time to get crypto legislation through. Do you see what's happening, right? Same thing, Russia. Russia's doing the same thing. So it's not preventing these folks from getting this technology up to speed here. So the Verkhovna Rada, I butchered that, Ukraine's parliament passed the first reading of a bill to legalize and tax cryptocurrency on Wednesday, according to lawmaker Yaroslav Zelenika. I butchered that. I'm sorry, guys. If signed into law, the bill would significantly shape the digital asset economy in the country, which ranks among the world's top in crypto adoption. Do you see what's happening here? They're not banning it. They're legalizing it. Of course, the tax man's going to come collect his fees, but it is what it is. That happens everywhere. But amazing what's happening, especially, again, the context of this country is currently in a war. But crypto is a global asset class. It's here to stay, and any country that bans it, it's like I've said many times, they're writing their economic death sentence. Final news item here, big updates from Ondo Finance, and I do hold the Ondo token in my portfolio. I will also be interviewing someone from Ondo very soon. So Wall Street 2.0 is here, they announced today. Ondo Global Markets is now live, providing one of the largest ever selections of tokenized US stocks and ETFs on-chain with the liquidity of traditional finance starting on Ethereum. 100 plus assets now live with hundreds more on the way. So guys, tokenization is the future of finance, like Larry Fink, BlackRock CEO, said. Ondo is playing a big part of that. They're one of the leading blockchains. They're collaborating with many other blockchains like the XRP Ledger, Ethereum, and much more. And everything will be traded on chain. So this is very, very bullish. They said Ondo Global Markets launches with support from many of the world's leading applications and platforms, including BitGet Wallet, Trust Wallet, OKX Wallet, Gate, Chainlink, BitGet Global, The list goes on and on. It's a lot here. So they've got the full integration. So really, really bullish here for Ondo. And look, the world is multi-chain. So some of you may see the integration of other blockchains into maybe your favorite blockchain. Like for example, the XRP ledger uses Ethereum for RLUSD and even the EVM technology to enable smart contracts. Well, Ondo's branching out to other exchanges like Ethereum, which one may say is not a competitor, but you got to understand it's going to be a multi-chain world. There's not going to be one blockchain to rule them all. If anyone is telling you that, they're lying to you. And I think common sense and reason would tell you that. So you see, outside of the tribalism, you see that these folks are integrating with Chainlink, Ethereum, and much more. So you could hold all those tokens, or you could just hold Ondo. It's just up to you. But recognize the multi-chain world we're headed to, where there's going to be interoperability with different assets. So this is big, guys. Incredible stuff here. So I hope you see the direction the puck is heading in, and we are skating to where that puck is heading, folks. So incredible stuff. Folks, a great way you can support me in the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free. Check out the link in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And check out my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you every aspect of crypto. All of the links will be in the description. Folks, thank you so much for watching, listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.